from Stitches Quilting, and I wanted to share with you, I am live here in Volcano Hawaii and on the big island of Hawaii, and there is actually a quilt show here that is happening right now through August 4th, and it's called Quilts in the Forest. And behind me is a phenomenal quilt that is a true Hawaiian quilt that has one continuous piece that is silhouette, has a silhouette type pattern that is radiating out. This quilt was made by, and I have my reading glasses because I'm gonna read to you guys some of the beautiful things that are on here, but it was hand-pieced, hand-appliqued, and hand-quilted by Roberta Mueller. And this quilt is actually for sale in this quilt show for $12,000. So, but Corey, I don't know if you can come up close. And I want them to look. This is one of the most well-renowned quilters, Hawaiian quilters here on the Big Island. But can you come in extra close and see how you really can't see any of her stitches that are in here? You can hardly see any stitches whatsoever. And then she's got some hand quilting here. The quilting is actually echoed. So that is definitely a true Hawaiian quilt where there's some echoing going out of the patterns that are being reflected out, and it's their love being shown everywhere. So let's go ahead and move on to another quilt. We have another Hawaiian quilt right over here, and this one was again made by Roberta Mueller. And I'm not really good, you guys. I'm bad about pronouncing everything, but I'm especially bad with accurately pronouncing some of these Hawaiian names. So I might kind of skip some of the Hawaiian words as I'm expressing things. But this quilt is actually for sale for $1,500. It is another applique, but this is a pineapple pattern. And you can see that she's done some cross hatching on point here to actually give the effect of the actual pineapple, which is very traditional in a Hawaiian quilt, where you see the pineapples there. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know. But these are really, really beautiful quilts. This is actually a batik on a white or cream background, and it really is a very, very lovely quilt. Once again, the echoing and all that other kind of stuff. Okay, over here we have a quilt that's called Views from My Window, and it is based on one of her photographs that she has done, that she had the photo enlarged and then she simplified it, and then she repeated this as a quilt, and the theme is quilts in the forest. So this is a view of the Hawaiian forest from her window. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Okay, so over here we have a tumbling block that's called Tumbling Down by Linda Rowland. And she started out as a pieced fabric for a jacket, was what she wanted to make this for, but she eventually turned it into a bed quilt, which is really neat. So let's go right over here. We've got some more really neat quilts going on. Here's Two Company, Three's a Crowd, with some lizards and a frog down there. This one is called Heart and Soul, and she says this quilt was pieced in Indiana, but it was not until I moved to Hawaii that the inspiration for the backing, the border, and the quilting design came to me. The leaves in the fabric led me down the path to use the outlines of the leaves for the quilting design. So you can see that she's quilted actually a leaf pattern in this background. Here we have Bear Bliss. And it says, my path is the dilemma, which has led me to towards happiness and contentment through the meditation. And what a better place to meditate than at the beach, where all the basic and essential elements come together in harmony. So I don't know about you guys. Do you guys meditate? I like to meditate, especially if I'm having a hard time falling asleep. And there's some different things I'll do, but it is just really stunning here to be able to meditate in the nature of Hawaii. But of course, we can all meditate and enjoy the nature wherever we are. Here we have another perspective quilt, and just beautiful fabrics that are being used here of batiks, and some hand quilting in here with a thicker thread. It's just absolutely beautiful. It was hand quilted with a pearl cotton. Over here we have a piece called My Inner Garden by Fan Barker, and this is part of a quilt series that she has. and it's her life working and living in the forest is her inspiration. So you can see beautiful things where she's working with some pearl cottons. She's done some quilting in here. It's just absolutely stunning. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. We have something here called Purple Frogs. Isn't it fun? I love the creativity, I really do. But this piece I actually think is a very, very stunning, and it actually sings to me. I'm gonna scoot over here. But it's called Joy, Lovebirds No. 3 by Phyllis Collin. And she says it's part of her family album series. This collage fabric quilt depicts my son, his wife, and their newborn child. So, and it is absolutely stunning. And you can see just all the different pieces and the thread work here. She has actually done this fabric collage, and you can see some netting, like some tulle that is laid on top of it. But then on top of the tulle, she's actually popped out some of the more significant features. So it's almost, she's using the tulle as a perspective tool. The tulle, which is a netted fabric, as a perspective tool. And it's absolutely stunning. And her thread work, and I mean, isn't this just beautiful? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that's stunning. It makes me want to start doing a family album series myself. I'm kind of inspired here. We have another piece over here by Candace Simon that's done in a similar fashion, and she likes to paint pictures with fabric. And here she's got, she finds pictures in fabric that represent those images, and she quilts with cotton fabrics that contain different values, patterns, and colors. Once the right fabric is in place, I cover it with netting and free motion to stitch it together to give the images shape and definition. So it's absolutely beautiful. I don't know about you guys, but check out this one over here. I don't know, it's so beautiful. And Corey, if you could read this word, I mean, you probably could, but Ke'alaolaka, not sure, by Catherine Wine, but let's go ahead and pan back over to the piece. I'll read some of this. Laka is the goddess of hula and the forest. In the scene depicted in this quilt, she is seen collecting the leaves and the flowers that are sacred to her. So you can see her right here, the goddess of the forest, and she's right here, and she's in the quilt. She's collecting the leaves and flowers that are sacred to her to be worn as ornaments for dance. This quilt was inspired from my love of hula. So it's just absolutely stunning. Isn't that a beautiful piece? Do you guys have a favorite quilt so far? I'm just so curious if there's something that really sings to you. But I think you can see here in Hawaii how each of these quilts, so many of these quilts come from nature or come from their emotions and from their feelings and have a lot of meaning, which I really appreciate. Right here we have a walk in the woods. This is a 4-part series. The 4 friends wanted to make a collaborative quilt, and they all love to quilt, but each has her distinctive style and technique. And we wondered, how could they mesh? We drew a picture of our imaginary Hawaiian forest path, divided it into 4 pieces, and this was the result. Isn't it stunning? So here we have 4 quilting friends that each took a part of a Hawaiian forest that they created. So you can see the stream that's running throughout with the waterfall, and you can see this part that's running throughout. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning. And each of their methods are just so absolutely beautiful. They really are. We actually drove up from Kona a couple hours up to Volcano to see this quilt show. Over here we have, oh, I'm so bad with words, but oh, you guys. Corey, do you think you could say this? Do you think he's laughing at me? Let's see if he could say it. I don't know. But it's a spirit, and it's the spirits of the king and the yeah, I know. The Hawaiian ancestors look down upon the graveyards while Mahana holds a spear in one hand and her piko to all of the ancestors. So it's beautiful. Here's another one that is of the volcano that is happening right here, and it is for the beginning of the creation. Ferns and flames are hand painted, and free motion quilting to enhance the designs of this volcano quilt here. So let's go ahead, let me see. I know I've missed some, you guys. It's so hard to show you absolutely everything, but let's come on down here. Oh, there's just amazing things. We have such a lovely lady here, and I actually took some pictures. Aloha. And I took some pictures of her and a little short video of her actually doing work. Corey, can you come in on her piece right here? She is working with some silks, and you have actually dyed some of these fabrics, haven't you? And you have used some of the real Kapa that, remember, we talked about Kapa in one of our first quilting videos that we did here from Hawaii. And so, but she has actually cut out pieces of the Kapa and put it into her quilt. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Well, the Kapa, it's from the mulberry tree, right? So it's the bark of the wake or mulberry tree, and it's pounded. And, you know, there's a whole process of stripping the tree. I mean, it's very involved, and I've not done all of that, but I got to participate in a little workshop where we pounded, and they have different hand-carved wooden implements that leave textures on the cloth, a lot of water, you ferment it. I mean, it really is an involved process, but there's many women here who do it. So
really? Oh my goodness.
There are artisans who do the old way, but
wow.
And there's films on it and stuff.
Yes.
You know, they use them for clothing,
yes.
you know, for the hulaus. But anyway, that I inherited some pieces from that day, so I try to put them in.
Yeah, and using every little bit of things, you know.
Because I work with little bits, so I use
little
bits. So.
I agree. So here she is. This is a part of a 3-part series. Is that correct? And tell us the part of the series.
It's called My Inner Landscape.
Okay.
So it started with one, and then it evolved, and 2 more came from it. So.
And this is Georgiana. Am I saying that right? Georgiana?
Gloriana.
Gloriana. Okay. I'm sorry. I've been looking at so many different people's names and everything else. Everybody knows I butcher everything, don't I, you guys? But it's absolutely stunning. And she has got some other quilts that are hanging here, and I'm going to be sure to take you over to show them. But she really combines your thread work into your quilts. And here she has actually added some fibers to her tree. If you want to come in here close to this, Corey.
It's kind of dark, but yeah, it's
see how there's
it's just wool and, you know, hand-dyed wool and silk, and then I just attach it to kind of create my image a little better.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
These are weaving, so you tear the fabric strips and then weave them.
And weave them.
And then
I love the different mediums that you have in this. It just gives so much depth to the piece.
Thanks.
So, and here she is, she's done like a beautiful thread down here, and then she's going to, as she continues to make this piece.
Yeah, what is the one? I don't know. There's so many decisions all the time.
Yes,
so
you guys, don't you feel that way?
I'm waiting until I know, because I don't know yet.
Yes, because we work on things as they go along.
Exactly. I knew what to do here, and I'm working on this, but I don't know there.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Let's go see another one of her pieces that are hung up over here.
And so people are making a specific request to see the owl.
Oh, okay, we'll take you over to the owl.
Oh, God, yes.
Yes, let's take you over to the owl.
Do you know?
What other questions are we getting?
Well, no, and I just want to.
Well, would you come with us over?
No, just no. I was just ask her if she could explain there's a legend behind the owl,
But let's go over to the owl and
explain it.
There's
a story about.
I wouldn't want to be doing that.
Well, Val told the story.
Yes, Val did tell the story.
Pueo is a protector for many families. They're an amakua, which is a protector. So people have the shark and the honu, whatever. But this is Pueo, so it's the Hawaiian native owl, and this is the same woman, Roberta Muller, who did the big Hawaiian and those other 2 Hawaiian pieces up there.
Yes.
So,
and this is actually for
fabric.
sale. It's $1,500.
Right. And so I guess there's some piecing involved. It kind of looks like here, because they're saying pieced by Linda Sackett. But Roberta did all the applique and all the quilting.
Very, very nice. No, you're right. It is beautiful. But look at there's actually a metallic thread that they're used in here.
Hand quilted it.
Hand quilting this.
I'll touch it. I know I'm not it's supposed to.
I know. I grabbed some gloves just in case.
So that's her.
Oh, look, and here's their. It's labeled.
Her
You
big
guys,
envelope.
is everybody labeling their quilts? I
We
need to
should
label more of mine.
Yeah,
What other questions do we have, Corey? But this is definitely a protector, and Val told us the whole story of the owls yesterday, and it was a beautiful, beautiful story of romance and love and dedication as a flock of the Hawaiian owls, of protecting one another as animals and protecting others. So it's really beautiful, just stunning piece. Really is. Okay, what else do you have some other things that you think would be really neat to share? Let's get over to your pieces. Do you mind showing us a little bit of yours? Okay, because this one is extra special. So tell us about this. I loved seeing it. So I'm gonna have you stand right here.
Well, this quilt I made in 2002, so it's an older quilt. And my best friend, Sally Collins, I don't know if you know her, but she is pretty, she's written books, so she's kind of well known in the quilting community, although she's not really teaching now. But she works, like, her pattern was one of these, right?
Wow.
Called the Circle of Stars, so people may be familiar with it. And she worked it in a 1/2-inch scale.
Wow.
So we got together, we did a week every year in January, and I made it 1-inch scale, right?
Okay.
So I made it bigger and then repeated it 4 times.
Yes.
So then you get a secondary thing in the middle, which you can, I drafted however you break up the space where they come together, because it's actually,
Oh, yes.
right, so it's 4 times.
Yes, yes.
And then with her encouragement, I was able to do a really cool piece border.
Yes,
And
it's
little
beautiful.
strips. So, and then her husband, who recently passed, had named it way back when, Pele's Glow. Before I ever knew, like, we'd be living here, and
In
it would
Hawaii.
be hanging in our house here in Volcano. So it's kind of a tribute to him that I
Yes.
thought I'd put it in. Nobody has really seen it, and even though it's an older quilt, and I did
Oh,
hand
but it's
quilt it,
beautiful.
and the back's pretty cool too. Let's see. I mean, it's a cool back.
Oh,
So
my goodness, it
really
is.
It's Pele's Glow. So
Yes, it is. It
Yeah.
definitely is. It's absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
And I got some beautiful pictures of that. Now come over, let's go look at your other piece that's right over here too, because I think it's absolutely stunning.
Okay. So what did I say for this guy? 2012. So this was a piece when I kind of started doing a different style of work. A lot of more improvisational piecing. So just picking up things in my palette and sewing them together. And that's when I kind of incorporated some weaving with torn strips. And I also did some shibori dyeing, and I started taking classes in dyeing silk, so I got to use pieces. So basically, I have them incorporated throughout, which was really fun to cut them up and actually use them rather than, just save them for I don't know what. So,
Yes.
and then I love small piecing, and I just, it was really improvisationally designed, and then I got to use my thick threads to do the stitching. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
what I love to do, is a lot of stitching.
And then these fabrics came from different locations.
Right, so I call this unity in diversity because, like, my daughter went to India and she brought me back some silk sari, which I've incorporated in here, and I have different silks from like Thailand, and then my own silks. I have commercial fabrics and other artists hand dyed. So for me, it was the common thread, so I say that using all these different techniques like Japanese shibori, Thailand, oh yes, I have African pieces in here, and so it's kind of the common thread that really binds us all, especially quilters. We speak a
Exactly.
language that really is universal.
Yes, exactly.
And
what unity we have in all of our diversity. And here you have pulled all of those pieces of diversity together, but there is so much balance in everything. There isn't one thing that screams out. The whole piece has it's very harmonious and so much balance. I just really appreciate this and appreciate the balance that there is in that.
So we want to know the name of the pattern.
Oh,
It's not a pattern. It's just from my heart, really. No, there isn't a pattern. It's just
it's something that you designed as you were inspired to add that
pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I make a big piece. You can change the colors as you go, and then you can cut it up. So,
Yeah.
I have it. That's kind of how the Kapa is in that other piece. It's paper, but I wove it, and then I can cut up whatever I want from that larger piece.
Yeah.
So.
It's so from your heart. It really is. And you're very, very talented.
Thank
I love it. But this piece is actually for sale for $2,000. And you do have some that are very similar to it could almost be a series.
Well, this is kind of more the style that I've continued to work in. So like at home, the other pieces that go with this are more, I would say, contemporary, but I get to incorporate all these silks and really neat fabrics, and I back them with this, not a fusible, but, and I wish I could remember her name, but she's a silk artist that I buy a particular product from her, which really helps me use some fragile things.
Right, and some different fabrics that wouldn't
But
be
sorry, I
usual.
can't think of the darn
No, that's
name.
okay. I can't think of things all the time, huh, guys? All the time. I'm always, and I'll ask them what I'm thinking about, and then they'll come up with a name.
Oh, okay.
Are there any other comments or requests?
No, that was last
Okay,
one.
well, I definitely want to show them this other piece by Val Brewer, because Val was the one that yesterday gave us the tutorial on the pet portraits. So do you guys remember Val? But this is one of Val's pieces, so I definitely wanted to share this with you guys. So the background of the forest is pieced. So you can see she's got some piecing going on here. Do you see all the different piecing of the blocks? So the background of that forest is actually pieced. The foreground is appliqued and embellished. By using different textures, scales, and techniques, I attempted to create depth without using perspective. So it's absolutely beautiful, but you can see the scale of this being smaller, farther in the back, and this being wider, and then she's used some different things, textures and all of that to make this come to life. Let's go on down here. I really like this piece right here. This is done by the three women. Do they own that quilt store, the mom and the two daughters? Is that right?
No.
Okay, but one of the women owns.
I believe she is the owner.
Is the owner. We have an earthquake, you guys.
So excited.
We got to have an earthquake. Did you see that? It just shake just slightly. Isn't that fun?
It's just alive.
Corey's been really waiting for this. Do you think that was an earthquake?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Corey, are you so happy?
I'm excited about this.
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going.
It's still going.
Can you feel it?
It's still going.
I would say about a 3.8.
A
Yes.
3.8.
It's still kind of going. Can you feel it?
Still going under me. I feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it. And you just kind
That
of.
is too neat. Okay, I know we're crazy. And anyways, we'll tell you more. But okay, so let's go back to this 3-part series. So it's called you guys, I'm gonna butcher these words, but intertwining and it intertwines, and this is this type of plant that's right here. And this was intertwined and wraps itself around the Hawaiian koa, and the Iowa tree is in our rainforest, and our quilting friendship has been intertwined for over 20 years in Volcano Village, a big island of Hawaii. The plant is endemic to Hawaii and was used to make fish traps and helmets for the Hawaiian royalty. So,
Another one.
oh, we've got another one.
So kind of.
We've got another one.
Could be gonna have,
Need some aftershock.
So maybe we'll have a little more. By the way, Corey really wanted to fly over the volcano. We are in the city of Volcano, in the big island of Hawaii. And Corey wanted to fly over the volcano with the helicopter, but they're all sold out. We could fly in 2 separate helicopters, But Corey wanted us to be together. And I agree, I want to be with him. But I was willing to go in 2 separate helicopters or have him go by himself. But we're going to come back in February and I'm going to teach at Quilting on the Beach. And so, oh, it is still going. Can you guys see this? I don't know.
Well, it might just be me shaking.
No.
On the
It is
camera,
still going.
but it is going. No.
Yeah, it is going. Okay, so this is a 3-part quilt series, and they each did the plant. But what I really like about this is, you know how sometimes you might do a collaboration quilt and they're each separate individual pieces, like the one up on the other side. But these are actually connected. But what's neat is how they're connected, but then again, they're also not connected down here. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? I think it's just very, very beautiful. So, and we have some hand applique work here, and then it is some hand quilting. This one is machine quilted, and this one's hand quilted. Wow, and they're just absolutely stunning pieces, don't you think? As a collaborative piece, and truly a historical piece of Hawaii. And you can see how they're so inspired by their history, their culture, the nature around them. And I just think it's kind of like a challenge for us to think about all of those things as we're making our own quilts and our own pieces, and what is the meaning or the reasons why we're making what we're making. I don't know. It's interesting to think about. I mean, maybe it's because we're trying to follow a designer that we absolutely love, and her fabrics inspire us, and her patterns inspire us, and they're just so stunning and amazing, and we're replicating some of those things. But in other ways, we're also doing other things too. So it's really neat. So come on, and let's go ahead and get you guys. I want to show you one other piece. And I think this is absolutely beautiful. I took some pictures of this, but it's called Conflicted by Judith Wilson. And poor Conflicted can't decide whether to don her mermaid tail. So you can see her tail right here, and you can see she has legs. To don her mermaid tail or live in her more human form. She represents how we can all be conflicted as we make choices in life. She is painted with permanent markers, Dyna Flow, and luminaire paints, and adored with shells and beads. So I want you to just take a close, this was for sale, but she's already been purchased. But I think she is absolutely beautiful here in this quilt show in Volcano. So, and you can see she's got just beautiful earrings, or the shells are just hanging down from her hair. It's just a beautiful piece. I don't know, you guys, look, Corey, can you go around it? It's just, I always wanted to be a mermaid when I was a little girl. And it's really cute. I'll let you guys appreciate it. Anyways, I know I'm silly. When I was a little girl, I kind of got in trouble because I took my stepdad's mirror, the visor from his car. It was something that was like, it was just connected to the visor. It was a mirror that was separate. Because back then they probably didn't make mirrors in the visors. And I took it and I put it in our swimming pool, and then I swam around like a mermaid, and that way I could look at my hair flowing and things like that. So my stepdad, he got really upset with me, and he said, "You could have broken the mirror in the pool, and there would have been shards of glass, and you could have gotten hurt." And so, anyways, later in life, when I did get my own pool, my husband actually bought me a mirror, so I could be my mermaid in my pool. Isn't that cute? Anyways, but I do love mermaids. And I love all this nature. So let me go ahead, and here's one other piece, this pelican. Actually, that's a good way to close. Any other questions or things? Corey, we are gonna actually go to, let's go ahead and let them know what else we're doing this week. We're going to go to a Kapa place to see Kapa made, and we're gonna do a live video on that, and that's the native fabric that they had here in Hawaii, made from the mulberry tree. There is a fabric store here on the island that has been open for 86 years, I believe. And we're gonna actually go to that fabric store, and it has been owned in the same family. The grandfather opened it, then the mother, and now the adult grandson, son and daughter are doing that quilt store, and it is absolutely sweet as can be. They actually live in the building that the quilt store is in, and they might have food products, but boy, they have got a plethora of different products and different sewing items and quilting items, and it's amazing. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. We're gonna do that one on Friday. What else are we doing? There's another quilt store I wanna show you. And what else do we have planned? So we still have some more live videos planned for you each day. If you want to, turn on your notifications, and then remember, from each of these quilt stores that I'm going to go visit, or any of the fabric stores, I'm picking up things that are unique to that quilt store, and I'm going to then share that with you guys. So I'm gonna send it out to some people that have been sharing the love, and I have some really neat things, and I can't wait to show you guys. But of course, we'll go ahead and determine people that have won or whatever when I get back, and we'll go from there. So, but I see you guys sharing, and it's been really a lot of fun to share the culture of Hawaii and the things that we're doing and that we're experiencing here, including the earthquake. So anyways, I love you guys tons. We're gonna enjoy the city of Volcano. We've driven 3 hours to get here, and then we'll have some more things for you for tomorrow. And I need to edit some photos and get some more things published for all of you guys to see. Love you guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.